Kingdom Hearts has many different concepts to keep track of. In this series, we'll be deep diving into each one to help you better understand the story. This is the Kingdom Hearts Glossary. In the world of Kingdom Hearts, there are two opposing forces that coexist within the universal balance, light and darkness. Kingdom Hearts tends to mirror the tenets of Taoism quite often, stating that light isn't inherently good and darkness isn't inherently evil, but both are necessary to maintain equilibrium. While many good people gravitate toward light, and many evil forces gravitate towards darkness, people like Riku, who utilizes darkness for the side of good, prove that it's more about the individual and their intentions rather than which force they use to empower themselves. That being said, darkness is dangerous in high doses. Riku channels his own darkness through no small measure of self-discipline and control. But in Kingdom Hearts 1, he shows how easily the inexperienced darkness user can be lured by its siren song into committing heinous acts. Darkness has a corrupting influence, one that can be visually measured. As a person becomes gradually more intoxicated with darkness, their body will often undergo changes. One of the most defining changes is that their eyes turn yellow. With the speculation that Star Wars could be in the next Kingdom Hearts game, that would actually be a fitting parallel, with the dark side of the Force having a similar effect on people like Anakin. Beyond the eyes, some changes resulting from the gradual corruption of darkness include the darkening of skin, discoloration of fingers, whitening of hair, and even the ears becoming more pointed. When a person's heart becomes completely immersed in darkness, it will eject from the body and become engulfed in shadows, forming a monster known as a Heartless. This can also happen if a normal heart is removed from the body, as a heart with no protection is very vulnerable to darkness. The only exception to this rule is that hearts of pure light, like those of the Princesses of Heart, cannot become heartless. So when their heart is removed, their body just remains comatose as their heart tries to reunite with their body. The Heartless come in many varieties, but the feature that connects all of them are the solid yellow, unblinking eyes that seem to cut through the darkness around them. All Heartless also lack any human intelligence, as the baseline personality of a person seems to reside in their soul, not their heart. Heartless operate instead on a primal animal instinct. They have a need to consume more hearts, adding more to their number. Their behavior in this regard is similar to zombies. They will attack normal human beings, turning them into one of their own, and then mindlessly move on to the next person. The need for hearts doesn't stop at people, though. The bigger the heart, the more alluring a target. As a result, if given the opportunity, the Heartless will go after the hearts of worlds. However, their limited intelligence often prevents this from being too much of a danger, since they'd have to coordinate their efforts to discover the location of the world's keyhole. But a person with a sufficient mastery of darkness who has retained their human form can command lesser Heartless. For the high-ranking varieties, one would need to be exceptionally attuned to darkness, bordering on corruption while still maintaining control. Very few people can claim that level of affinity, with Master Xehanort and his various incarnations being some of the only ones we know. Once directed to the keyhole, Heartless will swarm the heart of the world. When this happens, the world begins to break down. Massive orbs of darkness will appear in the sky, shattering the land and absorbing the pieces with their gravitational pull. Eventually, the entire world is destroyed. When destroyed in this manner, the remnants of the world will often appear in the realm of darkness. If multiple worlds are being consumed by the Heartless in a similar time frame, The realm of darkness will begin to look more and more like a fusion of these destroyed worlds, as if the disparate pieces from multiple jigsaw puzzles were fit together. Eventually, a space will form, which acts as an amalgamation of the remnants of destroyed worlds, as well as what appears to be gummy block material. This space is known as the end of the world. Here, the typical laws of reality don't apply. Traversing this space would feel like traversing chaos and insanity themselves. Within the end of the world, a door to darkness can form. This door leads through the realm of darkness along a path, and on the other end of that path will be a false Kingdom Hearts, created from the hearts of the destroyed worlds. But if there is no powerful commanding force holding this dark space together, the door can be shut and locked, the worlds can be restored, and end of the world destroyed. Though some worlds may not awaken right away, and instead be trapped in a sort of limbo in the realm of sleep, becoming sleeping worlds. The Heartless that are spawned from the darkness of the universe itself, or the darkness in people's hearts, those that call the realm of darkness their home, are known as pureblood Heartless. These were, at one time, the only Heartless to exist. However, after Xehanort's experiments in Ansem the Wise's employ, he created new, artificial Heartless, called Emblems. The Emblem Heartless all have a distinct insignia somewhere on their bodies, making them easy to identify. It should also be noted that Xehanort would have designed this insignia himself, and his mastery over the Recusant sigil means that with the X present in the symbol, he could track the locations of these Emblem Heartless at all times. Emblems often appear to be designed to fit the world they are deployed in. Magnum loaders often appear in Space Paranoids, a world inside a computer mainframe. Screwdivers often appear in the underwater world of Atlantica. Power Wilds typically call Deep Jungle or similarly forested areas home. While the Purebloods definitely have some heavy hitters, like the Dark Balls or the Invisibles, the Emblems are typically more combat-oriented, since they were designed specifically to be a fighting force. A special subset of Emblems is known by the fanbase as the Prismatic Melodies. These are magic-using Heartless, most of which are named for a color and a musical style, such as Red Nocturne, Black Ballad, Marine Rumba, Pink Concerto, Silver Rock, Emerald Blues, and more. Though some that are technically in the same category are named for food, like the Wicked Watermelon, the Large Rice Cake, and the Mighty Macaron. Then there are even holiday ones that aren't named for food, like the Festive Fireworks, the Wandering Spook, and the Jack-o'-lantern. It's a popular exercise in the fandom to create a melody of your own, which popular Kingdom Hearts personalities like Regular Pat have done. I myself came up with the Cerulean Punk, a Heartless that uses jets of water to rocket around the battlefield and tackle their enemies at high speeds, making them hard to hit. Despite the general lack of intelligence of the Heartless, and perhaps as a result of the meddling of Xehanort, there is a sort of hierarchical structure in the Heartless, even among purebloods. Shadows are the weakest and lowest form of Heartless, likely formed from people who didn't have much darkness in their hearts when they returned, like Sora. Then there are Neo-Shadows, much more imposing and powerful variations of their lower-tier brethren. Giga Shadows are shaped like the weak Shadows, but much larger and much more powerful. Invisibles and Angel Stars seem to outrank most other pureblood Heartless. And of course, there's Dark Sides, which are essentially living artillery for Heartless, absolutely enormous in size and destructive capability. Anyone who's seen Bleach can liken these Heartless to the Manos Grande, the Gillian variant. Among Heartless, there is a unique entity in the Lich. Unlike others, who exist to consume hearts to procreate, the Lich acts as a sort of Grim Reaper, not that one, who ferries hearts into the dark depths when a person loses their heart in a deadly fashion. But if it can be caught in time and forced to release the hearts it captured, the people who were on death's door can be revived. Sora has a unique relationship with the Heartless. For most others, Heartless cannot truly be slain. If conventional weapons or magic destroy a Heartless, the heart that made up its core will float off back into the darkness. Eventually it will form into a Heartless once again, at some other time, in some other place. When slain by a Keyblade, however, the heart is released from the grip of darkness, and it will return to Kingdom Hearts. Provided that a shadowy organization hasn't diverted the flow of hearts to their own artificial Kingdom Hearts, of course. So his efforts often cripple the Heartless in a much more effective manner. As a result, they fear him and his Keyblade, and become driven in a desperate attempt to kill him to save themselves. However, Sora can also tap into his own inner darkness. Upon releasing his heart to save Kairi in Kingdom Hearts 1, he temporarily became a shadow. He managed to hold on to some semblance of his mind during this brief period, and Kairi was able to restore his human form with her powers as a Princess of Heart, plus the general power of love shenanigans one might come to expect from anime series like this. However, despite appearing human and regaining his power of light and that of the Keyblade, Sora was still, in effect, a Heartless, granted a temporary body. He needed to be reunited with his nobody to become truly whole again. That process took over a year. So, being a quasi-Heartless for that long had some unintended consequences. In Kingdom Hearts 2, when Sora attempts to draw on his dormant powers through the usage of dry forms, he will sometimes turn into a Heartless-like creature, in a state known as Antiform. When in Antiform, Sora cannot block or heal, or use any other magic or items. He can't use reaction commands either, reflecting the Heartless's lack of clever thinking. He can only attack in a Berserker-style fashion, and while he is much faster and stronger, reflecting the ruthless nature of the Heartless, this is often a detriment to his combat ability. In Kingdom Hearts 3, he seems to have more control over his inner darkness, replacing Antiform with Rage Form. Unlike Antiform, Sora has to consciously choose to become Rage Form. It doesn't happen spontaneously, and that's a choice he doesn't often make, unless he's desperate for the restored health that the transformation grants him. Sora also retains the usage of his Keyblade in this form, though it becomes a dark version of his Keyblade. While he still cannot block or heal, he can at least return to his normal form more quickly through the usage of Risk Charge. By sacrificing chunks of his remaining health, he can empower his offense, and eventually create a massive omnidirectional attack with laser beams. Upon using that attack, he immediately reverts to his usual form, even if he's still in the middle of a battle. Antiform had to either run out of time or be manually reverted outside of battle. The Heartless are a manifestation of the force of darkness itself. They exist as long as people have darkness in their hearts, so it may never be possible to be completely rid of them. But Kingdom Hearts teaches us that darkness is not something to push away. You should be cautious of it, of course, but everyone has darkness. For some, it's depression, loneliness, anxiety. For others, it's anger, frustration, revenge. It can be greed and gluttony, or a simple desire for mischief. As human beings, none of us are perfect, but hiding from our shadows won't make them disappear. It will just cause us to live in denial, incomplete. Face your darkness head on, accept it, and put in the effort to never let it control you. You are more than your darkest side. You don't have to be heartless. Hey, bada bing, bada boom. That's another episode down. This one took a lot longer to put together than the last one. It was like double the script length of the last one, and I had a lot more editing that I wanted to do in this one, so got a little bit more ambitious. Apologize for the extended length that it took, but like I said, I wouldn't expect these videos to come out super frequently. I just make them when I can. This is the part where I tell you to like, comment, and subscribe, I suppose. You don't have to, but if you did, that would be neat. And as before, whatever kind of episode you want to hear next, leave it down in the comments, and I'll get to making it. Thank you all for listening. Have a good day.